Esports, of course, start on that T side. CatEvil start on the CT side. Finally on the way, Sam. This series looking like it could be spicy.
Absolutely. Given the history between these two teams, I think this could be one banger of a match. We'll see how things start out, and curiously enough, it's going to be another one of those games where we have a slower pistol round as opposed to one of these kind of rush on in and try and get as much done as humanly possible as quickly as possible. This time around, in Esports, you see them taking, as we said, nice slow approach, heavy banana presence, but I do like that there's that potential lurk over towards apps that could catch someone off guard.
Well, so far the opening kill. What about way to start things off with the CT side? We already mentioned that in terms of the history, they are the favourable ones of a 2-0 last time out. The question is, can they repeat it? Well, what about way to start things off? CT aggression in towards that second mid could become punished, but Jin, speaking of, look at Teshman off guard. He might be able to catch the flank here. All about timing, and timing gets the better of him. But at the very least, information. They know they're committing over towards B. Hence why you see Dreamer making that rotation back over towards CT, and now just gambling upon this fact. In comes the flash. Evil Beauty to find one. Septi gonna fall. Look to find one more. Lovely Jake going in for Estelle. Trying to find one of his own as well, but Estelle will fall. Muted from the back side, gonna find one. Keep the numbers in favour of the CT side, but the T's, they've made their way on towards the side, and they're actually gonna be able to get that bomb down. Bomb plant, the post to try and be set up. They're walking straight in towards no man's land, and that could become a problem for them. So I say, Evil Mutant gonna fall in towards Coffins. So will Ton. Jin trying to make it a double as well. It's getting off in towards the back side. Will be able to buy anything? No, he won't. Jin find yet another kill to his aim, a double to find CatEvil, their first round on the board.
And get at a fantastic position for the entirety of that. I think it was Kenowith who was kind of posturing over towards that app side, looking to get a late lurk, maybe catch someone in on a rotation, but they lose a player very early on at the bottom of Banana, and so he has to kind of rotate in to catch up. And again, instead of pulling back and rotating through spawn, instead he opts to push out the same way that he saw Kenowith leaving. He's able to get that little bit of a backstab going, and at that point, you're approaching the site from 3 different directions, plus you have numbers advantage. Now, Moon Esports do, of course, manage to get one more at the end of that round, and of course, they get the bomb down, so quite a bit of cash to play with into this next one, but it's a really solid play from CatEvil.
Yeah, I mean, a bomb plant gives Moon Esports, at the very least, some security over their buy. Not the best start, though. You're only going to lose, what? One man player. Septi will fall. Estelle, nice in for the trade, though. Dreamer's going to bite the bullet, and Ton makes it a second. Numbers now go in favour of Moon Esports, and it looks like they're tempted to go to that top B aggression and case the last bastion in their way. A smoke in his face, but as we stand, he's just going to hold on the other side of it, play nice and aggressive, and slowly fall back over towards that top car position. For CatEvil, they're spread thin. This is now becoming a little bit dicey. You see a 1-1 split towards short and long. One player over towards B, and for Moon Esports, all they have to do is play the trade game. Numbers favour them, so does the firepower too, when you consider that Kate's only got MP9 to work with. This crossfire has to be immaculate. There goes one. Make that a second for Jin as well. Looking double it down, which he does brilliantly. All down to one man as Estelle left in a 1 versus 3. Now bomb dropped in towards short, and surely now the round's done. The flank coming in, the MP9 at range, trying to cause problems, and just about Jin comes and cleans that one up. Second round of the board for CatEvil. And the first full buy for Moon Esports, unfortunately, amounting to not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Naofu came into that, I think, with just a deagle, but, you know, they spent a lot into that round. And we take a look at, you know, CatEvil, they yoinked a ton of guns at the end of that round as well. So that's going to help them out in terms of their own econ coming into this round. What I did find weird about that was Moon Esports had a few bits of utility left over in the tank. They had some flashes and smokes, but instead they opted to just kind of keep brackets dry.
They pay the price for it, and it look like they're doing exactly the same thing of dry peeking. I'm going to dome the upgrader rifles taking the fight in. Alfie trying to find one more, not going to be able to do so. It's still at the very least a consolation kill. So 2 kills far for Moon with not too much of a buy. It's a silver lining in a bad situation, but the bad situation is a 3-0 start for CatEvil, and they're looking like they want to put up a similar score to what they did the last time they faced in towards Season 40. That was a 16-4 on Dust 2. And so far, a 3-0 on the CT side. It's looking good for CatEvil.
We haven't even gotten to Dust 2 yet in this matchup. That's the next map. You know, we got to get through Inferno. And as we said, this would have been the decider map in their previous series. So it's kind of nice to get a bit of a sneak preview as to what may have happened had they come out on that map. And, well, so far, looking, as you said, very good for CatEvil. But they are also operating on the snowball effect that comes with having won the first couple of rounds. You know, the pistol, the force, the bonus, etc. There's a lot of momentum that gets gets carried with it in that regard. Now for Moon Esports, this is going to be their first truly solid buy with AKs across the board, with a nice little bit of utility as well. Now they have to make this work. And we can see a little bit of a posture towards A here. Smokes have come out as well, but that's a CatEvil smoke. Again, Moon Esports seem to be kind of, I don't know, hesitant to really commit some of that util. We saw some towards the top of Inferno. Towards the top of Banana. And it doesn't get them a ton of space, but, you know, that's just util that gets, you know, used to not much effect. Let's put it that way.
Agreed. I mean, Kate's now with Mike 7, already taking a little bit of damage from the utility coming in towards top car, but 40 seconds left on the clock, and a decision now needs to be made by Moon, because they're making their way over towards A, but they still haven't really got that control. And with 3 players in their face, 30 seconds left to work with, time is getting of the essence. It's safe to say. September leading the charge in towards the A site, looking to try and find the head, but won't be able to connect as of yet. And of course, gives away the ruse that Moon are lightly committing over towards A side. 20 seconds to work with, and they have to go here and now. Molotov in towards one, trying to deny the presence. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Jin steps up once again, looks to make it 2. Full blind does not matter. He comes alive. Estelle now needs to go huge, but unable to do so. They shut down that T-take once again. Moon Esports find 2 kills, but that's all they find. No bomb plot means, well, realistically speaking, a lackluster economy.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting approach. Once they make their way through the top of bracket and they start to kind of rotate around, they're immediately met by a Molotov, which is obviously intended to slow things down because CatEvil know that that's where they're going. And that, because they have to either make the decision to, you know, they either have to pull back and rotate somewhere else, wait for the Molotov to expire and thereby, you know, put themselves in a really dangerous position, or find a way to move through it. And instead of extinguishing it, because again, they had a bit of utility available to them, a lot of them just kind of run through it. Small kind of things. I think there might have been like a slight gap between, you know, where the Molotov ended in the wall, and maybe they were just trying to like circumvent in that and try and save some of their util where possible, but it doesn't really work out. They all just kind of funnel in, and they do it one at a time, because swinging together is that much more difficult because you don't have the space to utilize because of the Molotov. So this is a good play from CatEvil, but questionable stuff coming out of Moon.
Okay, good for the first. Despite being on a slightly limited buy, Moon Esports, not too bad to find the opener. Happy to pick himself an AWP, not going to be the case. Jin going to deny. 9-0 Jin currently sits at as well. I mean, a flawless start for him. And looking to continue it, as once again, another kill with the pistols are causing problems. Despite CatEvil having a significantly better firepower, they're overextending, and because of that, being caught in isolated fights. And that's not exactly what you want when you've got those pistols running down on you. Man advantage for Moon Esports, minute left on the clock, and this time they're going slightly more quicker and not making the clock their worst enemy. Running over towards long as well. Jin this time going to get deleted. Not able to find yet another as all down to 1. Kate, who's yet to get off the board in a 1 versus 2 against a double AK.
I think it's really interesting to note that they lose their AWP player very, very early to like Tech 9. A missed shot and a nice little util, or what's the word? Like taking advantage, right, of the opening. Yeah, I mean, this is a solid round from Moon Esports. Well, maybe solid isn't the best way of putting it, but they come out on top of it. So it was definitely necessary, and it's taking advantage of those slight misplays, as we said a little bit earlier, you know, losing out on that AWP player quite early on, and then losing yet another player to one of those pistols, and they're able to clear out that A site quite nicely, and once they have that numbers advantage, pretty decent post-plant setup. Question is, how do CatEvil respond now? Of course, they're not into a full buy anymore, despite winning quite a few rounds. Moon Esports have tried to keep it expensive, and so because of that, CatEvil's economy isn't as stable as it could have been.
No, and I think one thing to mention as well, the Moon Esports came in with a Hero rifle into that prior round that were able to come out on top, and that was due to CatEvil's overextensions. This time, though, it's 1-for-1 trading towards long, trying to double down on that control. When it comes to swing to deny, now through only good for 1, and the step up for a double as well. Kenneth walling means things become a little bit dicey in that long control. With the bomb dropped, Estelle has to come out huge. He's unable to do so. It's Ton now all alone, 1 versus 4. Position given away, the ruse is up, and they know exactly where Moon Esports trying to come from. And a jumping FP9 trying to cause problems. That's not going to be the case. What a round it is. A 3K for Twice, exactly the sort of round he was needing to just kickstart a bit of momentum in his case. 5-1, 4-round lead once again, and Moon Esports, slight bit of success put right back in their face.
Yeah, a bit of a rough one there. It was nice to see that Moon Esports were using a little bit more of that utility, a little bit more frequently. There were a few missed lineups as well that maybe worked against them for some of those swings. CatEvil doing really well to bring it back in their own favor, particularly knowing that they came into this with a bit of a lesser buy than what they would have wanted. Now we're going to see our first pause coming out. I do believe it will be attack pause, and that should be Moon Esports. They know they're coming into this with a little bit of cash to burn, so going to try and swing things back in their favor. They've had a few rounds to get to grips with how CatEvil are playing this, and now let's see what adaptations they make going forward. I know what I'd like to see, and that's just more, consistent utility usage to gain a little bit more of that map control. CatEvil have been doing really well to slow down the pacing and not really give them the space that they would want in order to take control of a site. And I mean, when Moon Esports do manage to take a bit of control, we saw that on their eco round where they get those two very early kills, they open up the A site, they get in. Once they've done that, they tend to have an all right hold. We've only seen one real example of it,
Sure.
but CatEvil just have consistently been disallowing any sort of control.
Yeah, exactly that. And that's kind of the thing that I do like from CatEvil so far is kind of quite aggressive CT stances, but they're winning out their aim duels. It's oh so simple. The utility usage from Moon Esports hasn't been the most effective, I think is one way to put it. They've been trying to get their way out towards Moto a couple of times, paying the price and overextending themselves, being caught in very isolated fights. And since those kind of just angels are going only one way, it's working so well. Still going to find one of his own into his top B. That's a bit of an easy kill. Dreamer's getting caught off guard, and it's not the kind of kill you want to give away. Takes damage from the utility, left with only a slither of HP to work with, and falling through the spam. Bring to numbers level now. HP favouring the T side, but not the amount of advantage. Jin, when FP9 going to find one, looks like a two, which is brilliantly. Jin has been on fire so far in towards this game. 11-1 he stands, and while a 4 versus 2 means he can just lock off all of that second mid control. Tom going to make his way up through mid, but rotating back over towards that top banana position. Only one player there to meet, and that's just Kate. Alone with M4 and a bit of utility to work with, he might be in for a tough hold here.
Yeah, I mean, with only 2 players left alive, even if it is a tough hold, reinforcements should come in relatively quickly, and Moon Esports being a little bit slow on the take. There you go, they cleared it up, 2 versus 2. Bomb should, 2 versus 3 rather, bomb should go down. The CatEvil with such a huge advantage here in terms of numbers, they should be able to get themselves into a decent position because Moon are only holding on the site. They haven't cleared this back area, and so the pincer maneuver we saw it a few rounds back, it should still come up clean.
Do. And Stell gonna fall. Ton trying to do his best to keep it alive. Bring that to 1 versus 1. Nice P, he's gonna come alive. Ton with a 1 versus 3. And what a round that is to clutch it out. Desperate need of momentum in their favour. And Moon Esports, and individually speaking, Ton step up to the plate.
Yeah, their post plants have looked pretty solid. Okay, it didn't look terribly clean on the pistol round, but obviously that was a pistol round. Now that, they have some guns in their hands, they've got a little bit of momentum going, they're looking much better. I mean, I was watching the push in from CatEvil, and okay, some of their players were on pretty low HP, TWY in particular, but I thought, okay, with 3 players moving in together, pincering in quite nicely, this should be pretty easy cleanup, and well, I'm proving completely wrong there. Moon Esports do a really good job of kind of covering each other's angles. As much as there's only 2 of them left alive, they've now forced CatEvil down onto an eco for like the first time in this half. And well, there you go. That's going to be a pretty good opening on what is essentially an anti-eco, but still, you know what? Get a few more rounds, get a bit more econ, get that momentum shift.
Yeah, positive signs so far. Again, another opener going the way of the T side. And that has been the big catalyst to their success. Yes, there was kind of that 1v3 clutch, which, realistically speaking, we didn't really expect too much, but credit where credit's due from Ton. But, a lot of the early bits of success in terms of getting a bit of map control and getting these pathways into sites have come from an opening kill. And now with that amount of advantage in their favor, and of course the significantly lackluster buy, it could work, and it will. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Estelle will deny it at only 1 twice. Damage dealt, but the main thing is information gain. They know they were trying to go for a B pop, and the rotation going straight back over towards A, and they're not even stopping. They're going to send it all the way forward because they know that CatEvil will stack that site.
So a bit of a gamble stack, I suppose, at this point. And CatEvil are going to have to go in for, I suppose, some sort of a retake. And again, I like the way that they try to establish map control. You can see how they're kind of fanning out a little bit. Oh, no, okay. I was kind of hoping they would send 1 through spawn and then try and create a pincer. But I suppose when you're on pistols, you kind of have to move together. And, all right, looks like it might just be a save. Just hold on to the deagles.
Exits,
and
surely, right? Now, Mark
Surely.
10, I guess, is something they can keep across. I mean, their economy is still not phenomenal. I mean, especially Mutant, only
The Mac 10 is the
1.5k.
one that's approaching.
Yeah, of course. I mean, a little bit of more economy into the fray. He picks up a kill or two. Potentially could be something to pick up on AWP, but Jin probably should have opted for the Mac 10, I think, to be honest. Only body shots done. Trade will come forward from Kate. That's make it collected at the very least. And a little bit of BM as well. Will fall away when he can. Swing it back forward. A risky swing, which was probably not necessary as Ton survives on 5 points of HP. Mutant all alone. Unable to find any sort of consolations. 5-3, Moon Esports starting to just chip away at that deficit a little bit.
I mean, CatEvil get a couple of kills in that round, but at the end of the day, Moon had the advantage in that round. They had the weapons advantage, they had the positioning advantage, and CatEvil forced to kind of go on an interesting little run around to try and hold on to those deagles. Now they come in again, and they've got a little bit more of that cash to play with, but they're still definitely at the deficit here, and Dreamer just eats a Molotov, trying to take a super deep angle down Banana, but it's just to give space for TWY to move into the backline.
Can they find it towards that apartments? Kennyf going to step up. Evil Mutant will drop. And the numbers brought level once again. Slower take this time, though, as Moon Esports don't really want to overextend. What you do see is the CT is just ever so slightly posturing to a double stack over towards A, which is the right call. Apps is being compromised. Kate's all alone over towards the site, and this is why we see that rotation coming forward. And a nice elevated position on towards site could work in his favor. Going to drop off as he goes for a little bit of a short take. Information towards top men will be a priority, and he might even be able to double back, round in towards apartment, and catch them off guard. But Kate needs to be careful not to be caught in no man's land. With Kenrith in towards that deep apps position, this does become problematic. Holding, waiting, got spotted. Could be a free kill. Spam going to come forward and he will come out on top. Trying to fall back in towards Pip. He's going to be caught in transition. Septi trades out. The MP9 now comes to the support. Running the gun and can he deliver? Not going to be the case. Septi through the box finds the kill and Dreamer falls. It's all down to Jin. When MP9 in a 1 versus 2. Damage has been dealt, but it's easier than done. The flash is good. Will he be able to find the kill?
No
good
ways.
for one. The question is, can he make it a second with low HP on towards him? Needs to be crisp. And Ton denies. A 4th round collected and the game brought 2 within 1.
What a ridiculous round. I actually love that from CatEvil. So like I said, they send one pretty deep down into long Dreamer and takes a ton of damage running through that molly, but it's all a distraction. It's all a prank, bro. Because in the meantime, they're sending out one of their players just through a main and straight into the enemy team. Manages to get a couple of kills off there. Nice. Brings the numbers to a little bit more of an even footing. Unfortunately, the last players left alive are rifles.
No, and of course now you look towards CatEvil, and there's a sort of very little to work with once again. That's what happens. The double eco situation for them is a bit uncomfortable. They want to stick around that 2k mark, and it gives them a buy-in towards the next. But what I'd like to see potentially is an AWP being brought on now by the likes of CatEvil. Potentially could give them ever so slight advantage, especially over towards Banana, where they struggle to find the opener. Not about shot there by Twy, though. He's going to find Kenrith, and of course, with the numbers now level, I normally count out the eco rounds, but deagles are a problem. We saw it yesterday in our game with Born in Mongolia, as they could definitely do some damage with the deagles in their hand. Same could be said potentially for CatEvil, but of course they're rotating back over towards B at only Kate here, who unfortunately has had a bit of a slow start towards this game so far.
Yeah. And that was something I was going to bring up. We'd kind of spoken about him a little bit at the start of the broadcast. He's been a consistently good player for this team, but he's having a bit of a slow day. I wonder if September spotted him out there. Oh, straight to the dome. It gets traded, but I do love those shots.
Hey, we'll take a 1-for-1 at the very least. Now, who's going aggressive though? Trying to find that information in towards CT. Bomb to be planted, and with this post plant set up, and the response from CatEvil looking very minimal, with only a double eagle set up, 1 USPS. I think it's probably safe to say that this should be Moon Esports closing this one out, tying this game up 5 rounds apiece, and of course, on their map pick, starting to find a little bit of security finally. Now, the one thing to mention, I mentioned it kind of a little bit earlier with the potential of an AWP, with Mutant's no investment, with a no sort of upgraded pistol being brought in towards this round, potentially we could see him pick up that AWP going in towards our next round, round number 11, and that could be a difference maker for CatEvil. The X is going out and towards that of the CT position. Deagle only going to find damage, unfortunately, now who stayed alive at 15. No problems to be made there, as now goes Jin. In this game, tied up 5 rounds apiece. Nice round, but unexpected with a full buy coming out from the T side.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of said a little bit that CatEvil were really running on the momentum built up from winning the pistol round, and you know, Moon Esports, okay, they started turning things around on an eco round for themselves, but they have managed to build up quite nicely here. And it's not just post plants. Okay, the post plants have been very good. A lot of these rounds have been brought down to the post plant, but they're starting to show slightly better signs of life across the board. And the AWP you asked for, well, we've got it. Kenilworth versus Mutant. We'll see who comes up on top of that one. As for now, looks like they're going to be going for a little bit of banana contesting again, but I do like that there's a little bit of presence over towards A.
A slower tempo set here by Moon Esports. They're just trying to find that opener, which you already mentioned has been a very good catalyst to their success. Mutant with the AWP being out, a double stacker as well with Jin, I think is quite a smart way to play it. So why are you going to go for the spam through that apartment? Not to find out too much. He's looking for a sound cue. Not going to get it. The flash comes in towards B. Now this could become problematic, or I was about to say, before Estelle get caught off by a flash himself and force to play a little bit more of a passive position. Dreamers in towards second orange. We see Kate's just playing oh so passive in towards the back line. It's going to rotate back over towards that CT hold and hope to potentially set up a crossfire here. This could work brilliantly in their favor. In comes the utility. That Fnatic smoking towards the front hand side of the site gives them some room to work with. They'll answer with one of their own. Tempo. Very, very slow by Moon. And I think, in fact, that bomb might even be tempted to go for a rotation back over towards A.
This is great patience from CatEvil, though. Like, there's the possibility that this is a fake, but they haven't moved anyone just yet because they know they don't actually have any info yet. It's great.
Missed shot on the first. Mutant going to take a little bit more of a passive approach. He's just trying to bait them in towards that long aggression. Flash will come in. Jin should be going for double, and he will. Brilliant from him to find the opening too. And look at the time. 17 seconds left to work with. Twy going to find one of his own. I think this round is done. 13 seconds on the clock. 2 remaining alive for Moon Esports. And yeah, that save call has been made. Nothing they can do. They don't want to die after time. They don't want to die before it either, especially with an AWP in their hands. So Kenilworth going to make the oh-so-passive approach, fall back and hold what they got. And another really great round. Won by CatEvil, but I gotta say, it's the mistake from Moon Esports. They play the clock way too long and they can't have time for the execute to come forward. It's the second they lose that initial man, they just have to give up.
Yeah, there was a bit of a questionable round from Moon Esports as well. I mean, look, we like slower default plays. They can work out quite nicely, particularly when you can get yourself a lot of information or you can starve a bit of information, which Moon Esports were actually doing quite well. They were starving CatEvil of any info. CatEvil just unable to kind of make a decision as to, well, should they rotate? Should they stay? You know, what's going to be the best position here? But Moon Esports take a little bit too long. And once they start executing, you know, they lose a few players on the cross. This was really well held from CatEvil because Moon Esports do give up a lot of space over towards the A site. And then the attempted execute comes in, but by the time they're actually getting anywhere near the site, as you said, only 17 seconds left. It's just about impossible to actually get in. So really well played here from CatEvil, but I think it also comes down to a couple of mistakes from Moon Esports. But it has been very even between these two teams.
So far, right? I mean, that's the case. It's been evil. We kind of seen that even, may I say, as CatEvil going down mid. Jin trying to find the opener, but Tom going to punish. Or will he be able to come alive? Yes, he will. Mutant finds one, takes the damage, but will fall away quite nicely. Numbers brought level. And this real aggressive start by Moon is now slowing down just a little bit. He's going to struggle to get this mid control. In comes the flash. We'll catch off the AWP as September trying to go aggressive. Trying to get that long control, but it's Estelle in the charge over towards short. Smoke will come in his face as well to deny that presence. And potentially now, they might want to make the early call to double back. Go and tempt Fate over towards B. And of course, they haven't got the bomb to work with just as of yet. So there's no committal play being made. CatEvil have kind of shut down that aggressive approach over towards A. And now they can force a double back. It's going to be a 1-for-1. Twy not able to catch on towards the second. Molotov will come in towards that along. Will force Dreamer to play slightly more passive himself. There's less than a minute left on the clock.
Slightly slower play can work out quite nicely, but obviously Moon Esports have somewhat backed themselves into a corner here. The time continues to tick down. They're kind of forced to have to push into this A site, and there's still 2 players here trying to lock it down. We also know that the AWP is watching there as well, so this could be a rough position to try to enter from.
And he doesn't even expect their apartment's position. It's a nice swing. Pretty well played. Tung going to find one of his own as well. A third kill, may I say, in the round for him so far. And, well, I think for Kate, it's probably safe to say that there might be the European save call being made here. Yeah, exactly that. Going to pick it up. Just going to play a little bit more of a passive approach. They don't really have the economy to work with to be able to invest it once again. Probably will be dropped over towards Mutant. M4 L&S in return. CatEvil, they're going to give up that lead once again. Game to be tied 6 rounds apiece. Moon Esports, a much better approach than them. The aggressive stance finds an opening kill, but the most important thing is how information they find. They know the kind of rough idea of how CatEvil are trying to set up their CT side, and they're starting to read into it quite well.
I really like their swing. I was concerned that, you know, the AWP busy holding down that site was going to make it really difficult to crack in, but they swing together quite nicely. They use that little bit of cover that they can afford themselves by jumping out of the app's balcony. And then they're able to, as you say, with a bit more aggression than what we're used to, they win out that duel quite nicely, get themselves that bomb down, and they force the save of the AWP. Now, unfortunately, of course, they weren't able to take that away entirely, and CatEvil are still able to buy up quite nicely here. And even footing across the board. See how these two teams make any changes potentially. Moon Esports, you know, we spoke a little bit about their slightly more passive play, and it was nice to see some aggression from them. But they also don't want to be too aggressive, right? They don't want to like get caught off guard, get caught in a rotation, and then that, you know, they can't really stabilize. And I think being able to stabilize is a really important factor here. Moon Esports have done pretty well in a lot of these rounds to get that stabilization out. So I think the slightly slower start definitely suits their play style, but once they commit, need to see a little bit more of that aggression thereafter.
One thing that I'm kind of just hesitating with a question mark about is the lack of B presence from CatEvil. Yes, they're not really being tested too much, but you normally see kind of a wealth of utility thrown down and towards B to guarantee that control, and we're not really seeing CatEvil do that. You look over towards the minimap in the top left, and they're oh so passive, not even tempting fate there. Now the AWP potentially will be tempted with a shot. He's going to miss the first as he wants to set up for a second. It's probably one dropping out of Boiler, but I think the smart decision there, just to take a step away. September doesn't want to overextend in towards an AWP, and he's going to make that rotation back over towards B. We mentioned about the lack of that banana presence, and here's where it starts to become a problem. Estelle's gone so aggressive, and they know they can more or less guarantee upon the fact that he's going to be able to get up towards top car relatively uncontested. A smoke in towards front of sight, though, denies the control, and of course, with 20 seconds on the clock, this is becoming a little bit dicey. Ball's up in their face, not exactly where they want to be, but they're walking straight towards the double. Kate going to come alive, G1 of his own as well. Just over 10 seconds on the clock, and it's a 2 versus 4. They need to go on towards the sites, and the AWP struggling to find the cross. Needs to guarantee a plant, and Gima trying to deny. The question is, will he be able to? The flash is good. Finding the first bomb will go down. No scope connects one. Make that a second from Kenworth as well. He's giving a bit of a life fly for Moon Esports in a 1 versus 4, and he brings down to the 1 versus 2. Mutant, Twy trying to deny. Well, 74 points of HP. The orb has to come alive. Trying to bait out a shot here. Bomb will be tapped. First kill will go his way. Will he be able to deny is the question. Tech9 brought out in a 1 versus 4. Kenneth comes alive. What a round it is from him.
I mean, he was someone that I'd kind of highlighted at the start, and to be fair, he's had a bit of a quiet game, but he steps up in that round. It sounds a bit weird to say he more than doubles his kill count in that round. 1 versus 4 with an AWP. It's disgusting. It's ridiculous. But it does what it's intended to do. Well done there. Absolutely salvages that round from the absolute brink. And now CatEvil once again back down to a little bit of an eco. Deagle's in a scout. There's a little bit obviously of a spend there, but it's not too much. And with very little to util in the pocket as well. Gonna have to rely on, well, there you go. Again, gonna get a nice little trade there, and if they can keep that up, this is still salvageable.
Yeah, it's one of those rounds still, though, that CatEvil never should lose. A 1 versus 4 against an AWP. All you have to do is double swing, and they play it so poorly. I mean, it was so easy to clear the angle, which they knew he was sitting in. They knew he was over towards Coffins. They try and stick the plant, and then they fall off it with a second left on it. I mean, it's just overall a really poorly played round by CatEvil, and kind of a deserved lost round as well. Moon Esports take a lead.
Oh my god.
Kate, full blind.
Kate?
A 1 for 1. He'll take it. Full blind. He has no idea where he is, and same can be said for Estelle, as that flash was so good. But the numbers brought level now.
It was hilarious. It was so funny because obviously, like, it feels like he's hit a wall. He probably thinks he's hit a wall because he's flashed out, so he doesn't shoot until suddenly it's the vision starts to clear a little bit. But somehow CatEvil still managing to salvage this somewhat. 2 versus 2 here, definitely doable. But time is ticking away.
It is starting to become problematic. The swing coming in. Can deny. Good for one. Kenworth in for the other. At the half, at the very least, they guarantee themselves a lead heading into the final round of the half. Moon Esports 8-6, a 2-round lead. It's now up to the question of can CatEvil make it as even as possible on their opponent's map pick.
I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing from Moon Esports. You know, we kind of spoke a little bit about the score lines the previous time these two teams came up against each other, 16-4 and a 16-2 in favor of CatEvil. And while TWI has definitely shown why he was picked up recently, unfortunately, they haven't shown the same kind of prowess as we've seen from them previously. And of course, on top of that, Moon Esports have definitely worked on things. We spoke about how they are a roster that has stayed together and they've put in the time necessary to start to bridge that gap a little bit.
Again, smoking towards long. A bit of a standard play here by Moon Esports where they attempt fate over towards top A, get a bit of that map control, and then make a decision off the back of it. And so far, they're not really going to overextend too much. It's a smart way for the T side to play it. Just sort of look and see what they can find. Jin does need to be careful, though. They can spot him out. He will jiggle peek, spots the information needed. A crossfire sets up, and I think they're getting an understanding that potentially A is where they're looking towards. The opening kill goes the way of the CT side, and Evil Mutant going to double it down as well. Make that another with Dreamer coming alive. A beauty of a flash. Drops ton. It's all down to one man. Not going to happen. 87.5. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you after the break. Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Second half underway. Moon Esports, a slim lead. 8-7. And well, for CatEvil, you got to say, on the CT side of Inferno, potentially not the best of Harshman.
Yeah, I think we would have wanted to see a little bit more of a buffer there, but we got to hand it to CatEvil. You know, we talked a little bit about how, or rather to Moon Esports, we talked a little about how their post plants were really solid, and it was kind of tough for CatEvil to retake. Most of CatEvil's best rounds came from, like, eliminating the entire team. I don't think we saw a defuse now that I think about it. So there wasn't really like a solid retake at all. Now as we see them on their T side, obviously that emphasis on aggression and getting those kills, that's going to be even more punctuated.
Oh, Jin trying to make it two as well. Estelle going to be overwhelmed there, and just like that A site compromised, bomb to be planted, post plant to be set up, and Kate... Please turn around, Kate. For the love of God. Yes, he will. Okay. I was getting a little bit dicey. He was kind of in no man's land, but this is a brilliant cross. He should be able to find at least a little bit of damage. Make that a kill. Good for one. Spots the first crossing as well. Might be able to find a kill, and he does. Running a gun, it does not matter. 8-8. We're all tied square, and this game is already getting a little bit spicier towards the second half. 8-8. CatEvil with a brilliant piss around from them, of course, with the bomb plant and all the kills means a more than healthy buy coming in towards round number 17.
Yeah, I mean, they won the first pistol round as well, and they managed to give themselves a nice little runaway lead off the back of that. So we'll see if that does replicate itself here. I will say I did find that round really funny because they put Moon Esports in such a tough spot. If they push forward, they're running into CatEvil. If they push back, they're running into Kate. I mean, rock in a hard place, right? Just so difficult to make moves. And of course, with pistols, it's always going to be a little bit rough. And now, because Moon Esports weren't able to win out that round, they don't have much to play with here. It's just going to be the USPs, no util, nothing. This should be another fairly simple CatEvil round.
It should be. Of course, it's been made a little bit more uncomfortable. And often you see the MP5 brought into towards play. Twy is a meta maker, as he's going to find himself a kill with it. And it's all down to one. Now, Fu, in a 1 versus 4, USPS, surely this time, I was going to say, surely it's going to be nothing. We should have 1 versus 4 converted already. No way you're going to make it again. Thankfully, Jin will trade, and that's CatEvil taking the round that they should have. 9-8, 1 round leads. But this time, you're going to see the full test.
Yeah, solid attempt there, I suppose. NT. They do manage to get 2 kills, so it's something at the end of the day. It's not great, but, you know, we try these things. They do take away a couple of those guns, but thankfully CatEvil are able to buy back into this fairly easily again, and they've got all the util they could possibly want. They're definitely sitting comfortably here. As we see a fairly aggressive push out towards A. With a little bit of presence towards Banana. We spoke about how Banana presence was somewhat lacking for Moon Esports. CatEvil
for sure.
Not really looking to make that same error in judgment. Instead, they're pushing up quite heavily here and gaining a lot of space as well.
Then comes the early bit of utility. Mutant's just going to take a slight bit of a hot feet. Going to fall away in time, though. It's holding for in case that molly spread. But no, now he's in that cubby. Towards top B, a little bit of aggression there, but I like how CatEvil are playing this, not overextending, not committing as of yet. They're still just trying to figure out what's the best plan of action. The only thing is they've got to go that long journey all the way back to spawn to pick up the bomb, which will be collected by Kate right about now. Molotov in towards that of under. We'll clear out this close position. September looking and tempted by a swing as well, but Molotov will keep him at bay as we stand. 50 seconds left to work with. They've got to make a decision now. 1 spot in towards long. September might get the repeat. We'll be able to find only damage as Dreamer finds the open, and that's a kill that he should convert on. September's been punished there by overextension, and potentially just as lackluster, a bit of a laboured spray. The rotation being made back over towards B, the double stack A, flash, trying to be caught off guard, on top of the speed as well. We're going to find at least one, looks to make it one more. Now Fu steps up with the trade will come in from Twy. What can they find even more as the USPS has to be brought into the play here. And MP5, not the best of weapons in this sort of execute, especially with the lacking amount of HP they've got to work with. Dreamer has to commit, and Twy going for a rotation. Could be able to catch something, but no, down he falls. USPS brought out, and the game brought level once again.
It was an interesting round. So they take a lot of banana aggression to get Mutant into position. And so my thought is, okay, now they're going to push A, and if somebody rotates, then Mutant is in position to, you know, get the kill. Maybe even both of them with enough trigger discipline. But instead, they fake on A, use a little bit of util there, and then go all the way back to B. It was a bit of a disjointed round, I felt. And Moon Esports, well, I mean, they just kind of maintained their positions the whole time. A nice little elevated, boosted spot there on B, and you're able to get 2 kills off the back of that. And at that point, you're laughing.
There's a flash. Deagle holding down Tiny. Does need to be careful. Mutant's causing a couple of issues, but he will fall eventually. As now Fu makes a bit of a meal of it, but he gets the kill in the end nonetheless. And of course, you know, for CatEvil, it is just that low by 81. Hero AK-47 supported by, not too much, to be perfectly honest. Just the upgraded pistols, a few deagles in display, a little bit of utility, a little bit of armor, but it should be another round where Moon Esports find in their favor, and of course, find double digits.
Well, that's a nice little extra kill there as well. CatEvil. Surely they just try and hold on to the 1 AK at this point, right? I mean,
I think so.
They're going to fetch the bomb.
Yeah, at the very least. I mean, they're going to potentially try and guarantee a plant over towards B. They're going to throw a fake flash over towards out of A. Try and tempt another rotation in that favor. Won't be given it as of yet. Close position's cleared. Kate has to go huge here, though. Has to step up to the fray. Smoke will come into a CT, look to find the opener. Damage dealt both ways. Tunnel low on HP, but from above, first kill going to go the way of the CT side, and Tunnel clean that one up. A flawless round. And just like that, well, double digits for the CT side. Moon Esports, a slim lead, a 1-round lead, but one they'll take nonetheless.
You know what? I respect the hustle. You know, good attempt there, CatEvil. And it felt like they suspected the boosted, the elevated position, but I don't know, maybe just didn't spot it out, didn't check it well enough. And so, you know, your bomb planter pushes through and is immediately sprayed down. Obviously, the smoke's not really going to cover that height. It could have worked out. I feel like, you know, if the right angles were checked, this is something that possibly could have actually gone their way. You know, there was enough suppressive fire causing a little bit of chaos on the site, but unfortunately, yeah, I mean, Moon Esports, they had the advantage there, so they pressed it. Yeah, well played. And unfortunately for CatEvil, that's going to put them at a 1-round disadvantage. It's not terrible, but the big issue, of course, is going to be their economy. They come into this round, there's a bit of cash there, but how much do you really spend? Maybe you upgrade a little bit here and there, but you also have to factor in things like utility, right? You want to be coming in with something. So it's the trade-off game, and I'm curious to see which direction they move in. I will also say that, you know, with both of these two teams keeping it so close, so we've already seen the AWP, 2 or 3 rounds in this entire map.
Yeah.
And I think that says a lot, right? It says that these two teams are consistently keeping rounds very, very expensively, or very, very expensive, consistently keeping guns out of the enemy team's hands. And so, you know, their economy is very messy from round to round. And I think that really bodes well for both of these teams. Whoever wins on this map, you know, when we head over to the second, you know, it could still go either way.
I think that's kind of one of the things that is mainly starting to get a little bit concerning for CatEvil. On a map in which we mentioned they had some security in playing, it's a map in which they don't mind kind of posturing towards, and they're struggling here. And of course, it's one of those maps similar to Dust 2, which is very reliant on just general aim, mechanical prowess. And so far, it actually is Moon Esports leading the charge. But I do think a lot of these rounds that Moon have taken have been more a case of CatEvil's mistakes. We look back to kind of the 1 versus 4, for example, a round which definitely shouldn't have gone the way of Moon the way it did. And I think that's been a kind of a common theme, that CatEvil are overcomplicating a lot of things. They're heavily reliant as well on some individuals stepping up towards rounds. I think Jin's been a real kind of person bringing a lot of success towards CatEvil. And yeah, we see, you know, kind of Twy on 18 kills as well, which is granted a fairly decent score himself. But even then, the impact hasn't always been there. A couple of eco frags here and there. But yeah, it's slightly worrying for CatEvil, where a lot of the mistakes are due to kind of individual players not working, losing their own advantage, and Moon Esports just playing a little bit slower and a little bit more simple.
Yeah, getting some really, really solid results there. We are having a slightly elongated pause here. I feel like, I could be wrong, but this does feel a little bit longer than what a usual
we've got a tech pause.
Yeah, that makes a bit
issue.
More sense. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we'll hopefully be back in momentarily. I mean, you look at how things are currently. It's 10-9. It's a pretty decent game, but unfortunately, we do just have to wait momentarily, and we'll get everyone back in the game. If I'm right in saying it's Jarimo we're missing over on the CatEvil side, so hopefully we'll get him back in the server momentarily and get this game back on the way. But yeah, tech issue, tech pause. And we'll try and get Dreamer in.
It wouldn't be an esports broadcast without it, to be fair.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly that. Well, unfortunately, we have no idea how long this may take. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw this one to a quick break. When Dreamer gets back in the server, we'll get the broadcast back on the way. We'll get things started to see if CatEvil can turn things back. We'll see you after the break.
She's warning me of the
There we go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we told you it'd only be a slight tech pause, and there it is. Back on the way. Round number 20. Moon Esports, the 10-9, but of course, over towards CatEvil. A bit of a lackluster buy once again. Struggling to find any sort of success on their T side, and so far, that's causing a problem to their economy.
Yeah, it has been very, very rough going. But we've said, it has been pretty back and forth between these two teams. So I'm not terribly worried just yet. I think as we get a little bit closer to the end of the map, that's where it'll really start to make a big issue. I mean, CatEvil at the end of this round, they should be able to buy in pretty comfortably.
Coming in. Now through down for 2. Dream up on a trade, but turning towards the backside. Making it all so easy. He's all left alone now. Pitch is going to come out. Jin will fall. I'm a 4 remaining alive. 11 collected for Moon Esports. They're starting now to build up somewhat of a considerable lead, and CatEvil will need to be careful. They've got that glass floor beneath them. Failure to convert this round, it means Moon Esports get to 12, potentially 13 or 14 too, and this map's starting to look a little bit too little too late, as what we saw yesterday.
I mean, I think that, yeah, that round pretty much went as expected, but CatEvil, it's not the biggest mountain in the world to try to overcome, and they come into this round with quite a bit of util available to them. But as we've said, there have been a few flaws in how they've been approaching each of these rounds, and if Moon Esports continue to take advantage of that, I mean, this, for example, we haven't seen this from Moon Esports, this very aggressive banana control for that little bit of information, and it's kind of corralled CatEvil a little bit. Now they have to make the choice. So what do? Bomb planter, or bomb holder rather, is slightly in danger here if Moon Esports do decide to push out, and it's definitely affected CatEvil's pacing.
That's safe to say. Initial bit of damage dealt both ways. Kate's going to take some from the HE, but same can be said for September. Slower tempo by CatEvil. This time, testing the waters over towards A. In comes the utility. Oh, second time of asking. There it is. Smoking towards Moto. We'll kind of just leave Ton a little bit useless as he has to rotate back over towards brackets, and of course gives them some time to work with, potentially even if they want to go for it, a split over towards B. Now, speaking of B, Banana is still being sieged for the CT side, and aggressive now from Scott. That will take the initial bit of damage. Kate gonna find the opener though. Molotov will come in, and that will keep, at the very least, Kate at bay, but he needs to be careful not to be caught off guard. Nice shot there from Twy. One tapping away into bit, finding himself one. Getting us to fall as well. That A side compromised. The 2 remaining on Moon Esports over towards the B side are just going to go for that early save call. And as the bomb's planted, that's going to be a 10th on the board for CatEvil because no retake is even being attempted.
This was a solid round from CatEvil. And so they have a little bit of presence towards Banana. It's mostly just Kate. He throws a little bit of util out there, but there hasn't been too much happening over on the A side. So Moon Esports send a player back over towards B as reinforcements. And because they've done that, there's only 2 players on the A site and 4 of CatEvil barreling in towards them. And they can't hold a whole lot of angles when you only have 2 players. So they're both playing kind of passively towards the bottom of A, one in Apton in pit. And so it's perfect. It's so easy for CatEvil to rotate around and take full map control. Now, okay, this attempt at hunting down the rifles hasn't really gone the way CatEvil would have wanted. They lose 2 of their players trying to take some guns away, but they do win themselves the round, which I think is very important, and they're still going to be able to buy in here. It was a much needed round for them as they get themselves that much closer to evening out the scoreline. But something we'd spoken about a little bit earlier was, we hadn't seen the AWP in a while because of how back and forth this has been. Now Kenneth is going to have that back in his hands, and that could make things a spot more difficult to CatEvil.
Yeah, one thing I was going to mention is why were they even hunting? They have no economy to work with. It's a stupid decision to even try and attempt to hunt. You've already won the round. And of course, when you look towards CatEvil, they have no long-term economy. They should never even be hunting there. And even if they find the kills, the majority of Moon Esports are like 5k to work with in their economy anyway. So it wouldn't have made any sort of difference. It was kind of for me, a little bit of a misplay. A slight rookie error to go hunting when they didn't need to. And of course, if you're going to hunt, you've got to commit to the hunt. They send 2 guys, they die, and then they just give up. It's very questionable to me, but of course, we'll have to wait and see. Now, Jin, a couple of taps over towards his side. Not going to spot out too much. Ton needs to be careful as well, as he's in a bit of an isolated fight here. Losing this cubby control does become problematic, and especially with we see Mutant making that slow pushing towards the smoke, and the sound you surely heard. Opener will go the way of September, though. Not the start that the T-side were looking for. Long control being given up, and the rapid towards brackets could work in their favor. Time will catch Mutant off the essence, though. That's not what they're looking for. Ton needs to be careful of the flank, though. September trying to spam his way forward for yet another. Damage down towards Kate, but from balcony to step up. Twy has to come alive, and he has to do it in such a fashion. Trigger discipline.
Knife.
Okay, you'll find one. Trying to tap away in towards mini pits as well. And especially now with Twy finding kill of his own, there's definitely room to work with. They're making their way still over towards his A side. Tapping towards mini pit could become problematic, and well, Estelle another kill to his name. Low HP of Kate, and I think this round is done and dusted.
Yeah, this was an interesting one from CatEvil, just the way that they opted to approach the site. Now, it's not the first time that they've gone for that long control. We saw it work out really well for them in the previous round, but this time, Moon Esports, they don't have one of those really early rotations over that give up a lot of space on the A site. They're kind of expecting this to happen, and a nice little bit of cleanup comes through there. And okay, yes, a lot of damage is done to the Moon Esports squad, but given what their economy has been looking like for the past few rounds, it hasn't made that much of a difference. And we spoke a little bit about CatEvil kind of needing to come back into this, you know, in terms of just salvaging their economy. They did get 2 buys, but now in this round, they've got very little to work with. A couple of deagles. They've already lost their first player, so this should be another Moon Esports round, and that puts CatEvil in a really tough spot for the rest of the map.
Yeah, and of course, now this is where I think CatEvil are overcomplicated things once again. They were trying to go for kind of a split over towards 3 different directions, up, short, long, and they just don't do the simple thing of overwhelming the CT side when they very easily could have. They had the numbers in their favor and didn't work. Now, of course, until round 23, they've got no economy to work with, just the upgraded pistols once again. So you can't really expect too much. Constellation kills will be, at the very most, a kind of a silver lining. Not a bad way to do it, though. Mutant will find one. Jin will be able to deliver. No, not the case. Just Stelling towards the back sites. Good for one of his own. Then a 2 versus 4. I think it's going to be cleaned up momentarily, and it will do. Just like that, 13-10. 3 rounds ahead of their opponents, CatEvil, and 3 rounds away from finding 16, Moon Esports. They're getting closer to closing out map number 1, their pick.
I have a lot of questions about this next round. So we said that losing that previous round is going to put them in a bit of a tight spot. Now, of course, they're going to be able to buy into this one because they didn't buy anything in the previous round. But look at what their economy is going to look like at the end of this round. It's not ideal. Okay, yes, they will be on full loss streak if they lose it. So they should be able to put a little bit of an investment into this. But if they lose this round, and with that first kill, it's looking likely, that's going to have Moon Esports on 14. And then CatEvil are back on a save, so Moon Esports find themselves on map point. You see where we're going with this? The economy is pretty messy for CatEvil.
Pop shots. Scanner looking for one. Stelling towards car B. Stepping up for a double. Jin will trade out below an AP. The Orc can be caught off guard. Trying to pull out the pistols, but not enough to do it in time. Jin has given himself at least something to work with in a 1 versus 3, but I think it's still safe to say it's unlikely. There it is. Tunnel close it out. And 14 collected another round where CatEvil have no game plan. They run like headless chickens down mid, and they just get massacred.
This was, weirdly enough, this was something that I'd said about Moon Esports in their T side, where it just kind of felt like the utility usage was lacking, and they weren't really gaining space with their util. It kind of felt like the util was like a secondary thought. And CatEvil, as much as they had a pretty good first half, the second half has been messy, to say the least. Now, at the end of this round, we will 10-1 be on match point for Moon Esports. And okay, CatEvil will be able to buy into the next round, but are they going to be able to bring this back in their favor? I don't know. Oh my god, Kenneth, what is going on?
Oh no, this shots get punished. Then Estelle will too. Only good for the first. Kate potentially could cause a problem with the Eagle. He's just jiggle around that wall. We'll find some damage towards the body. Toes gonna fall.
God.
This is now become problematic. It's a 4 versus 2. Brought level in a matter of seconds of September, and Nalfu come alive. But the bomb to be planted. Orb of Mutant will find September, and it's all down to one man. It's Nalfu in a 1 versus 2 against an AWP and an Eagle. The bomb planted. He's got a long journey over towards that A site. This is now becoming dicey. And is he just going for a save call? He's shift walking over towards ramp. He is. He's just giving up the round.
Yeah, I mean...
But why? He's got 4K to work with, and they only need 2 more rounds. It doesn't make sense to save here. Go, give it a go. It's a 1 versus 2 against pistols.
I mean, I love that this is what you're upset about, but, like, did you watch that round?
Yeah, I mean...
that whole round didn't make sense.
No, agreed.
So weird. It was so weird, and huge misplays. Kenneth, that's the second round in a row where he's caught with his pants down with the operator. In the previous round, he unscoped as the player comes around the corner. In that round, he misses the shot and gets taken down by a pistol, and off the back of that, CatEvil somehow springboard themselves into a round that they never should have won. What a weird one. Okay, Moon Esports still in the lead here, still able to buy, so it's very salvageable, but what a strange round.
Yeah, I'm a lot of questions have to be asked, and I don't think anybody in the world has the answers. Either way, back in towards round number 26, Kenrith holding the AWP in towards top card, trying to find a little bit of that control. Flash will force him off the angle just a little bit. Doesn't want to be too aggressive. I do like that. It's a smart way to play it because overextensions have been costly towards Moon. We look towards that prior rounding as pistols, and that's where they did face a little bit of a hardship. Now the double stacking towards top card, the flash will come forward, will be avoided. They've once again gone for this pretty regular, pretty standard CT hold. He plays 3 players over towards A, the double stacking towards top B, and just kind of fight that early aggression. But speaking of aggression, Estelle's going to fall, and now this is looking all the more dicier over towards the A side. September going to be naded down to 15 points of HP. He's fortunate to stay alive. In fact, the streamer finds yet one more. The question is, the wealth of nades to come forward, will they consider it? Doesn't matter. Labored spray gets punished, and a 2 versus 5. Now the safe call to be made, and this time I think it's a correct call to be made.
Oh, what is happening? What a weird round. Another one. Just, okay. I mean, at least CatEvil came into this with guns. So you feel like this is at least a somewhat more deserved round. But it really was just another weird one where Moon Esports give up a ton of space. This has been a theme for Moon Esports. Now, I tend to enjoy proactive teams. But I know that on a map like Inferno, you do tend to play a little bit more passively. You use your utility to slow down rushes, to isolate duels. And I mean, that is generally the preferred approach. But I feel like Moon Esports play that a little too close to the chest, right? They give up so much space and they're waiting for CatEvil to just kind of run into their crosshairs. And CatEvil have shown that they can have these fairly aggressive swings that work out quite nicely. So I want to see like maybe a little bit more pressure from Moon Esports. I guess that's the word. There's very little pressure. And CatEvil are just taking the space.
No, I do agree. I do agree. We have a ever so slight tech issue. Hopefully fixed momentarily. But one thing to mention, right? We're going in towards kind of this next round. And a couple of questions that for me start to be problematic is when you look towards Moon Esports in terms of the long term. It's not looking too great. Of course, the AWP and the M4 saved the cross. The right call to be made, of course, and that save in a 2 versus 4. But you know, the buy is going to come around. You expect that the force buy around the AWP and M4, the right way to play it. Of course, they've got the economy to work with. But we go back to what that analogy of the glass floor. If Moon Esports lose this round, they'll lose probably the lead, even at that. I mean, it'll give up, of course, 13 over towards CatEvil. They'll be going against an eco win towards the one after, which should tie the game up. I mean, this is now becoming a very dicey affair for Moon Esports, who are at such a lead and now potentially toying with the idea of, you know, pushing towards overtime. And the way CatEvil were playing on their T side, we didn't really even expect that.
I'm a little bit in shock here because I feel like Moon Esports, they more or less had this round in the bag, and one very wonky round has turned things back in CatEvil's favor a little bit here, with that opening kill going in their favor as well. I mean, this could very well be another round that goes their way, and Moon Esports, like you said, on a broken economy into the next.
Well, it's not about time to find an opening kill. We've got Trey going to come forward, though. So, already, not the end of the world. We're on the back of the T side, and that's where September steps up. Only good for one. And once again, for Moon, they know all too well about how prevalent having that long-term economy is. They're not even going to tempt fate with an attempt here. With a 2 versus 3, numbers don't favor them. Neither does their economy. They're just going to save what they can. And another round for CatEvil, they convert just by overwhelming the CT side. It's really well played. Textbook stuff. And, of course, because of it, now they're only one round behind. This was looking like it should be Moon Esports to close out this game on their CT side, on their map pick. As CatEvil on T side stepping up.
We needed to see that step up from them. You know, we had quite a few questions about a lot of their executes, and honestly, I'm not 100% sure if their executes are looking cleaner or if Moon Esports have lost a little bit of that momentum for themselves. Wow, those they are so serious about making sure that bomb doesn't get defused. Thank God they all survived towards the end there. Wouldn't that have been the ultimate meme? They all just died to the bomb there. But no, they do manage to survive, very importantly. And well, as we predicted, Moon Esports economy basically destroyed. Into this next round, should they lose, they will get a little bit of cash for it. I'm kind of hoping not to see too much upgrading here, right? Like, I want to see them try and hold on to some of their cash, particularly because we are getting closer to match point. So hopefully, you know, as we get into the next round, they should get quite a bit of cash in their pockets for that little bit of a streak that they've been on. But CatEvil sitting somewhat pretty here. I mean, Mutant has been doing really, really well. And he wasn't really a player that we'd highlighted, so it's nice to see him really stepping up and doing well for himself. I've also been, I did mention this a little bit earlier, but I've been really impressed with CWY and what he's been bringing to the team as well. That kind of raw firepower that clearly this CatEvil squad needed.
Oh, nice and slow so far. And I think when you look at the buy of Moon, they're not even going to go to their default of playing a little bit aggressive, looking at that information. But I think that's probably the right play. With a double the Eagle, one P250 supporting the two M4s, I think it is the right way to play it. But of course, over towards CatEvil, they've got a wealth of economy to work with, and they're making their way over towards B, and this is the right call. You see only one player stacked there, just Nalfu, the only player of a kit as well, which means that retake will become even more difficult as the rotation is being called over towards B. I think it's too little too late, because in come the T's, flooding their way forward, Kate leading the charge. That B side completely barren now, and there should be a free plant coming through, and this is where things become dicey for Moon Esports once again. For that one remaining M4, they might even tempt fate just to keep hold of it, because they're still in a really dicey spot. Numbers don't favour them. Tongue gonna fall as well. No M4's left in play. Only pistols to work with. CatEvil's causing problems. A shot though could become an issue. You got information over towards that of the Coffins area. So that will pick up an M4A1S, but still in a 4 versus 3. They might even just go for exit frags here.
Yeah, I mean, September with just a Deagle to play with, gonna try, but yeah, they're not gonna get too much done there. The gamble stack towards A, I feel like they maybe started to rotate a little too early, particularly when you see the Dreamer was kind of in their backline, and he's able to get one of those pickoffs. Okay, he does get traded out, but it slows things down a little bit. It stops the reinforcements from getting there in time. The entirety of Moon Esports are so split off from one another that realistically them trying to salvage that round wasn't really going to happen. So I'm glad to see that they didn't really force much into that or upgrade terribly much, because that means that off the back of that loss, the streak that they're on, they're now able to buy in, and so whoever wins this round is on match point. And I think what's important to note here is that if Moon Esports lose this round, despite the fact that CatEvil will be on match point, they'll still have the max loss streak bonus, so there still will be a little bit of money to put into that round. If Moon Esports... Yeah, if Moon Esports lose this round, okay, CatEvil look pretty good economically. Actually, you know what? They're going to be fine as well. So either way, we might not see the AWP come out of it, but either side, and this has been something that we didn't really see yesterday. There were a few misplays where teams found themselves on broken buys, or basically... it was a force, but it wasn't great because it was the last round. And it's nice to see that we're not going to see that similar thing happen here. But of course, both of these two teams realize whoever wins this round is probably going to be all the more likely to actually win things out. Or we go to overtime. I don't know. I mean, this has been so back and forth and so chaotic. It's actually difficult to call at this point.
Yeah, I do think, though, with Moon's kind of very hefty investment, of course, it's only a stellar ton of any sort of economy behind them. If Moon lose this round, I think they lose the game. I think they'll all lose the map in some fact, because of course CatEvil, no problems with them buying in regardless, but the same can't be said for Moon. It will realistically only be a stellar ton. It could pick up anything kind of substantial that be spoiled by the likes of MP9s and FAMASs, and they're always a little bit of a coin flip in terms of how well they can be utilized. So this is the be-all and end-all, a must-win round. And CatEvil know it all too well, hence why they're slowly taking over towards B. They're slowly making their way in towards apartments, and they're not overextending. They're not trying to force a round in their favor.
Watching this like constant back and forth just in case a flash comes out. I like this kind of more proactive play towards A apartments as well. Just trying to see if they can gain a little bit of control there. And that's going to be a nice nade to get some chip damage as well. Moon Esports at least posturing quite nicely, but they're giving up a lot of space here. They've given up Banana completely for free. And on this, now these 3 Moon Esports players that are towards apartments are likely going to have to rotate at a point. Unless this is like some 9,000 IQ fake. Okay, getting that kill. I was about to say they could get caught on the cross, but getting that kill, that could put things back in their favor quite nicely. There you go.
There we go. Double to open things up, exactly what they were looking for. Now, if we're going to be caught off guard by his own flash, though, which is now a little bit of an issue, we do have to say. They're finding their way in. So I'm going to find one more. A quick trade going to come in from Twy, but of course, they're still trying to play the word towards the B-side. Ton holding it down from the back line. I think they're all too aware of where he is. The question is, what can they find to avoid the flag? Will actually catch off the AWPer, and that becomes problematic as Twy's left all alone now. In a 1 versus 3, one of which he has to clutch it out to deny 15. And he's unable to do so. Moon going to be able to find their 15th on the board and 1 away from closing out their map pick.
Oh, dearie, dearie me. This was a good round from Moon Esports. I mean, this was something that I'd said a few times where they were playing super, super passive and giving up way too much space. And I like that more aggressive push into apartments. And, you know, as CatEvil kind of peek out a little bit, try and get some info. Again, that utility usage, not really where it needs to be. But I suppose you don't want to smoke yourself off and deny yourself that vision. So they try for some cheeky peeks and get punished for it. And that's really important for Moon Esports because that gives them that huge numbers advantage. And at that point, you know, once they've cleared out whatever's happening there, they're able to rotate across and help secure the round. Much needed as well. Now they find themselves here on match point with a full buy. And CatEvil, I don't know, it's definitely possible for them to turn this one around. We're seeing far less aggression from them, in fact. But it looks like they might just be moving in towards A.
I mean, they kind of, once again, go for the slightly slower take. Speaking of, now, if we get caught off guard by the flash. But it's, once again, as you mentioned, they're got a tempting fate. They're looking over towards that long, like I said, they'll come forward. Kate down to 31, Mutant as well. Taking a bit of damage, which is not exactly the start that CatEvil looking for. Moon are in the driver's seat to find 16 here. The question is, can they? But no. Twy will open things up. First kill goes away at the T side. CatEvil want to push it towards OT, and the way they're playing so far, it's looking like they'll be able to. CatEvil boosted up, elevated on the fight. Will avoid the flash, but damage will be dealt. No kill this time. 5 versus 3. Try to deny that kill, and he will find Jin at the very least. Information gain, the position relayed. The question is, what can he do from this position? As Kate will be able to trade out Nalfu. With him falling, a 2 versus 4, the both bombs set up. We've got a lot to do, so little to work with, and it's all down to 1 man. Overtime is looking like it is going to be the case, as Tun's left all alone. Ladies and gentlemen, 15-15 OT on the cards. We'll see you after the break. Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's overtime to decide who will take map number 1. CatEvil have managed to push this towards 15, but of course now it's who can take it in towards round number 1 of OT number 1. Moon Esports, of course, their map pick. They desperately need to take this, especially now we're going towards Dust 2 as map 2. And we all know how that went last time out.
I mean, I'm really surprised that we've gone into overtime, but I think with how back and forth it's been, yeah, it's kind of nice. We get to see this really go the distance. I think this is particularly important for Moon Esports because the last time they came up against CatEvil was a little bit more one-sided.
Exactly that. Well, all holding now. Kenrith, Molotov might force him off the angle. Lucky to stay alive. But of course, I think they'll have a slight inkling that there's one player in towards Cubby. And Estelle's position ever so slightly in a bit of a dicier spot now. September once again into the default of Pit. This time bombarded by nades. It's a 1-for-1 trade as Jin will step up. Kenrith forced into a rotation as well, but he'll be caught off guard by a flashbang. The A site compromise, being able to get this control, and of course now it's about how does this retake formulate any sort of security, and Kate is in absolute no man's land. The bomb still needs to make its way over, and it could be dropped in transition. This could become awkward. There it is, bomb dropped, and now this round completely changes hands.
And unfortunately, with CatEvil losing so... okay. Bit of a weird one there. Definitely wasn't expected. But as you said, you know, bomb is in the middle of no man's land. And with Moon Esports circling in, this should be a fairly easy hold for them. You know, CatEvil, I think their most tumultuous side has definitely been the C side. Their CT side looked a lot more solid, but there have been a lot of questionable things happening on this T side. So I feel like if Moon Esports can get a little bit of a runaway here, could be they manage to snag themselves this map. And with, you know, managing to win out that first round, they're definitely off to a good start.
And again, another round where it should have been guaranteed for CatEvil. Should have been a comfortable round in their favor, no questions asked. But they make one of the biggest rookie errors. Nobody picked up the bomb. Like, I mean, it's just so simple. And CatEvil fall to their own faults once again. I mean, Moon Esports get away with such luck there once again. Of course, deep amounts of nade damage coming in towards Banana. Brilliant to open things up. Mutant will fall. And that's a dream kill to find. Numbers favor them. And of course, as we stand, so does all the map control. But the CT going to double back. They're going to go for that boost over towards Plant Pot and just play a slightly more passive position now. Give up top B control and kind of rely on the double stack.
Oh, a little bit of chip and poke there in that little passageway as we try to survive. Yeah, I mean, the early kill for Moon Esports definitely helped, and it's slowed down the pacing quite a lot for CatEvil. And I mean, this is already a fairly slow team to aggress anyway. But they've managed to pick up the bomb here, and it looks like it's going to be an actual push in towards the B site. And with that nice little HE chip damage coming through, and the kill as well for a bit of cleanup, this could be an easy plant. The question is, how's the post plant going to look?
That's the question. Kate's going to take significant damage crossing in towards the site, but of course he makes it across all the same, and that's what matters the most. This time, fortunately, the bomb is with them, so we'll be able to plant it, post plant to be set up somewhat. Numbers favouring the CT side, and of course, so does the HP. Drop it in towards a full. Will they all be able to connect or anything? Is the question. Not going to be the case. A double for September finds Moon Esports their 17th, and they're looking like they're going to find a flawless half here in towards OT number 1.
Oh, that was rough. You know, they open up so much space for themselves here on that B site after a little bit of the kerfuffle happening over on A. They get that bomb down, but I don't know, it's weird. They kind of line up a little bit there, and okay, it doesn't help that there's very low HP. So at that point, you know, once the spray transfer comes through, it's basically just cleanup. They just weren't able to set up any sort of reasonable post plant. They also took a little while, you know, once they'd opened up the site to actually get that bomb down. And of course, you have to clear it first. You have to make 100% sure that there aren't any other Moon Esports players on the site. But by the time they've done that and get the bomb down, they haven't really given themselves time to set up in a post plant. And Moon Esports, you know, at that point, they've already rotated around, they've moved in, and they've pretty easily taken back control. Double AWP setup coming through from CatEvil here on their T side. And okay, I suppose you're feeling a little nervous. You know that we're getting closer and closer to potentially Moon Esports winning out the whole thing, but this is very high risk, high reward.
High risk, high reward indeed. I mean, for CatEvil, not getting too much of a reward in towards OT just as of yet. 17-15. Moon Esports currently Looking like they might be going for a flawless half, but that's a good start. Dream are going to find the opener. And now the question is, how do they want to play this? And will they even force a bit of an overextension from the CT side? And potentially it will be. Look, the full rotation's coming forward. It's all down to a man. September has to deny. You know he plays it towards pit. This time over to the balcony. Good for one, but it's only one. In a 2 versus 4, Sam is like, yeah.
Another really weird round. Like such a deep angle being held and no one's covering your cross, so anyone who moves through apps is going to do exactly what happened and just fire in your head. And I mean, that's you off the board. And the second player, as we said, was up on the balcony, so was not able to swing or trade in any way, shape or form. He is now alone on the site, so, you know, 4 people running into you. He does manage to get one, cool, but the trade comes through so quickly, the site's completely open, and it's all off the back of just having a strangely deep hold with no one covering your cross. Something so small is the domino effect.
Yeah, and that's exactly that. It's kind of one of those situations now where, well, as we stand, it's all to play for. I mean, CatEvil have made it only a 1-round deficit. They were slightly better on their CT side as well, so it's sort of not the end of the world, is one way to put it. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting things coming in towards half number 2 of OT number 1. Of course, it is 1st to 19. Moon Esports are only 2 rounds away. They're about to get things underway towards round number 4 of OT number 1. Well, interesting times. I mean, Moon Esports, they struggled at times on their T side, but of course, they're their moments of brilliance. We spoke about kind of CatEvil over complicating things as well. And this is where I still don't have that security and that comfort in them. And the way things are playing, I wouldn't be surprised if we went towards OT number 2.
Yeah, I mean, the way things are going now, we've spoken about how back and forth this has been, and neither one really looking to give an inch. Well, now we've got a counter. I say counter. It's just because we've stopped sides. It's still CatEvil. They're still running double AWP. Man, that is hard to say. And that's going to shut down a lot of these sightlines, and some aggressive banana control here. Hopefully they don't make the same mistake we saw Moon Esports make us. No, they're going to pull back a little bit. Yeah, it was just for a little bit of that early information, a little bit of early intel. But look how slow Moon Esports are playing this. I mean, we said that their T side was the one that was a little bit more questionable between the 2 halves. And now we're seeing like a full passive play. This is weird. They're not gaining any information by this. They're just vibing.
Just vibrant indeed. Well, slow tempo. What will we find is the question. I mean, for Moon Esports, decisions have to be made. I think one of the biggest problems we saw from them in regulation was Moon Esports cutting the clock way too kind of down to the wire, I think is one way to put it, where they left themselves kind of 20 seconds to make an execute work. And in a 5 versus 5, it's not really going to be that easy. So the other teams have made over towards top B. The bomb's still down towards their spawn. So for Moon Esports, no decision has been made as of yet. They're just going to hold, wait, and see what they can find as they look like they're rotating back over towards the A site.
A lot of that util once they've started to move in here, so not going to be terribly much to try and make an opening point for themselves, and losing that first player. Now we rotate back, we start heading towards B. Seems like it could have been an attempt at a fake out, but CatEvil are starting to reinforce this B site.
Nice
and
shot.
That shot, oh, so good.
Flash will come forward as well. No decision on the boost as of yet. I think they're just trying to play a little bit of timing on it, but it work against them. Cake gonna fall. Shots with the AWP not gonna quite connect, and Dreamer taking damage, which does now become a little bit of an issue. But there's muting for the flying. The double AWP setup seems to be working brilliantly. It's all down to one man. Naufu in a 1 versus 4. Moon have clutched the 1 versus 4 before. Well, not going to be this time. CatEvil to tie the score up 17 apiece, and a much more decisive CT round from CatEvil. Ties this game back up. The question is now, can they win out on OT number 1, or are they going to push this towards OT number 2?
I mean, it was a more decisive round, but we can't really understate what a weird start to the round Moon Esports had. Usually you push a little bit, try and bait out some util, get some information, but they just kind of chill towards their spawn for the absolute longest time. Maybe they're expecting a bit of more aggression out of CatEvil. Maybe they're expecting them to push out and try and look for those fights, but the chances of that happening were always going to be relatively slim. So now, back on the double AWP setup. And see, this is more like it. I like this. A lot of util being used in Banana. Both teams really vying for control of this space. And, you know, part of that is because it's an attempt to sell a fake, because the bomb's actually moving over towards A. I like this setup.
So far, I do. I mean, it's looking slightly more passive one. So I was speaking a little bit too soon. Kate, nice step up in towards that of Banana. And he gains all the control, all the information they need. Mutant will be forced off by the Molotov, taking quite a lot of damage. He'll drop one of his own in towards top of apps. Deny that split as he drops back in towards library, and it's coming from short. They're fronting their way forward. Twi will take damage as he's just going to post up in towards many pits, but not able to drop the utility in time. Mutant needs to be careful to be caught out in transition. Jin trying to deny the bomb, won't be able to do so, but finds a kill nonetheless. Posted up on towards Cold Zero Box to try and find a double. Will he be given the opportunity is the question. He's been giving away the sound cues. Turning towards that graveyard as well makes it all the more difficult. This retake's got not a lot of backbone behind it. An AWP and an M4A1S, and with the AWP by the commission, it's all down to one man. Jin has to step up. Good for one. Needs a quad clutch to be able to deny it, and it's easier than done. Not going to be the case. CatEvil now need one round to find themselves a double OT. And of course, on the other side, Moon Esports, one round to take this map under their belts.
I'm really happy with that round. You know, I was saying at the start of it that I liked the pressure that they were, you know, applying towards Banana, and then, you know, at the end it's actually just a fake, and they start moving over towards that A site, and that Molotov comes in, which obviously pushes Mutant off of his angle, but it also chunks him down to like 4 HP. And it gives them all the space they need to get in onto the side. Really well played there. And it's a round that they needed here on this T side, because the T side has been the biggest question mark for them. CatEvil need to come up pretty big here if they want to even things out. And of course, take us to another OT. Oh, Lord.
Of course, it's Moon Esports doing that default once again of cut that tempo. They are still just testing the waters over towards A. Mutant will be forced back by the double Molotov. This time he'll drop a smoke to not take too much damage. And a slight gap as well could give them something to work with. Molotov in towards apartments. Denies that aggression they want to go for. Moon Esports not really committed to anything. But speaking of the rotating back over towards that B side. In comes the utility. The walk is straight in towards one. And it has to be Dreamer to deny. Finds the first. Going to make it a step with the AWP. Make that a yes. Into a second orange stepping up. Look for the third, and he denies it. Brilliant for Dreamer. On for the quad to deny that B side control. And he's single-handedly giving CatEvil a lifeline to push it towards double OT, because it's all down to one man. Kenrith needs an ace clutch to find the round, and it's not going to be the case. 18-18, and double OT is where we're going.
My mind is blown by that round. And yeah, it was looking like another solid round for Moon Esports. They've got the fake over towards A. They pull a massive wraparound from CatEvil. CatEvil, 4 players reinforcing that A site. Only Dreamer on the B site. Yeah, he's got an AWP, but you're thinking, oh, well, 2 people swing. They should be able to take that. Dreamer gets the first kill. The second kill is onto a Moon Esports player whose back is turned and is checking like a completely different angle. Clearly someone just didn't swing out, I suppose, but like they know that he's there and they don't clear him, and they allow him to get 3 kills to secure that round. I mean, it's just mind-boggling how some of these rounds have been going. But honestly, fair play to CatEvil, keeping themselves alive in this. Fair play to Dreamer, keeping the dream alive, living up to his name there. He really is a bit of a dreamer.
It's a quite an intriguing time. I mean, both of these two sides struggling to just close this out. They've both had their opportunities and both kind of failed to convert. Another opportunity for Moon where, you know, in a 1 versus 4 over towards the site, a similar thing of just overwhelm the AWP, but they're peeking one by one, and one by one they drop like dominoes. Now, sides are flipped. CatEvil starting on that CT. Mutant going slightly aggressive with the AWP, won't spot out too much, and Twi going to do some of the same in towards mid. As he just posts up close and personal, flash can be problematic. We'll catch a little bit of it, but Estelle testing the waters. Brilliant flash. We'll find the opener, and now he can just fall away.
That was beautiful. Great teamwork there. It's something that I feel has been a little bit lacking in this matchup, is that coordination between some of the set players with utility and so on. So that was really nice to see, get that opening kill for the round. And Moon Esports, of course, they already have a slower play style, but they're going to be forced to stagnate a little bit here as they stabilize and try and figure out what the next move is going to be. There's still a little bit of presence towards both sides, so nothing committed to just yet. The A site seems like it might be the better option, as it's the least heavily guarded, and it seems that's going to be the players. There's a little bit of util being used over towards Banana, but they've waited too long. The reinforcements have started to return.
Again, back over towards the A site. Of course, numbers not in their favor. Moon need to be decisive, and something that they struggle on at times. Time is of the essence as well. With 35 seconds left to work with, CatEvil got all the control they need currently. They can just play the clock to their best friend, and they know that rotation's coming over towards the A side, so surely they have to be aware that it's committal play here. With 25 seconds left and no one spotted in a while, it has to be making its way over towards the A side. They can leave Dreamer alone over towards that of B and just guarantee that A side is where it's going to be going towards. Double stacking core coming through. Jin to find the first. Quick trade will come through though. They're also aware of Long, but they're running through the site. The AWP will find one. Deny on the bomb as well. That's the round. That's the Moon left down to one. It's September trying to deny, but he only finds a consolation kill. CatEvil take the lead and a slim 1-round lead, but one nonetheless.
You know what? You take those. You'll take any little bit, especially given how this just keeps going back and forth. And I know I said this a little bit earlier, but I feel like I have to bring it up again. The difference between this and the last time that these two teams played against one another is night and day. A reminder, the first map, the first time these two teams played off was a 16-4 in favor of CatEvil.
Yeah.
So the resurgence of Moon Esports has been incredible. But now, can they kind of keep that momentum going and get themselves to a map win? Yeah, CatEvil still in the driving seat at the moment. Nice little bit of aggression in towards apartments here. Going to try and control some of that space. Could put them in a bit of danger. Yeah.
There we go. There's danger, right? With the kind of early bit to CT aggression to get punished for, and it opens up a couple of spaces now for Moon to be able to expose. CatEvil still holds, still waits. A Mutant does need to be ever so slightly careful. I mean, as we stand, it's not the easiest positions for them to be in. The AWP going to try and come alive, or hold over towards that of Boiler, but does need to be careful. The aggression coming through in towards apartments. Good time to drop a smoke as well. He can now reposition. They're going to double flash over towards that Long. Try and regain that control. Cake toying with fire is going to work in his favor. Good for one. AWP comes alive, one of his own. Mutant, a dominant headshot and a brilliant flash to double it down. It's all down to one, and of course Ton left in a tough position once again, unable to find anything as he's naded out of the round. And just like that, with 20 rounds on the board, 2 is all CatEvil need.
And this is what's a little bit concerning, because we'd mentioned about Moon Esports' T side being the slightly more questionable one. CatEvil seem to be on a little bit of a tear here. They've given themselves a 2-point lead. They're not running that double AWP setup anymore, and I find that interesting. I think that it's, both options have their pros and cons, but I felt like they looked very strong with those two sniper rifles in their hands. Oh my god, Kate. That's just a little bit too much damage than is what's the word? Excusable. Takes quite a chunk there and is forced straight off the angle, and that's going to give up so much space for Moon Esports. We asked for pressure from this team, and well, there you go. They're applying that pressure.
Pressure's being applied. I mean, they're already sort of trying to pincer over towards the B site. It's a slightly slower take. Ingram's the utility now, but the only problem is, will you have to find anything in the opener? There it is. Dreamer 4. Kate makes a double spray down though, and he's bought time for the rotation to start to come through. Can he find one more? Yes, he can. Why did I even question him? Numbers favor the CT side. Bomb to be planted. Smoke in the face, but Ton will get that bomb down nonetheless. And they're double stacked over towards the site. They're going to drop a bit more utility, but a lot can be used by CatEvil. They've got a wealth of utility in their bank and a bunch of flashes which can give them openers. They need to get started and utilizing them to find their way back forward as that smoke dissipates. As Ton posts up in towards back alley. Jin leading the charge. Mutant coming through as well. Smoke in towards front and side. Ton to be caught off guard. Full blind now. Gonna fall off in towards dark, and they get away the ruse. The swing comes in. Does not matter. Ton finds one more. Bomber's being ticked as well. Needs to be careful. A time is running out. It's all down to one. In a 1 versus 2, will they deny the bomb? Is the question. There's also where it's coming from, and Mutant steps up. Brilliant from him. Deagle whipping. Doesn't matter.
Oh man, match point again. We've been here before though. We've been here so many times. CatEvil gonna have to come up big here on this T side, but they're giving themselves a huge buffer. Their T side has been a little hit or miss, I'll be honest, for both of these two teams. So I suppose the question is going to be, which CatEvil are we going to see here on what is potentially the last round of this map? Are we going to see the CatEvil that, uses utility really well to force Moon Esports off of their angles, to flash out and then, follow up on that, swing out, get those all-important kills, or we're going to see that like super passive CatEvil that have like really questionable utility that doesn't really gain them much space, and then Moon Esports just kind of run over them as they attempt to execute. I think that's going to be the big thing here. It's night and day between the two versions of this team that we've seen just on this map, and whichever one comes to the fore here, that could determine who wins this map.
Oh, absolutely spot on. I mean, it's very much a kind of a do or die situation if you're looking over towards Moon. One round is all the CatEvil need, and of course, it's to take Moon's pick. And then we go towards Dust 2, and if we cast our minds back to last season, the last time these two sides played, which was only kind of a month and a half ago, on Dust 2, it was 16-4 in favor of CatEvil. I mean, they absolutely steamrolled Moon. This is where I now have to really start to kind of ring a couple of alarm bells, because it's kind of do or die. Moon have to take this map. It's essentially their win factor. Lose this, and kind of their chances of taking the series start to dwindle quite a lot.
We just have to wait for them to ready up. And once that gets going, we can finally find out, do CatEvil drive this one home? I'm kind of looking towards Moon Esports here and how they're going to run this CT side. We've spoken a little bit about how their CT side has been their better half.
Yeah.
And the big question has been on the rounds where they didn't do well, it's been those rounds where they play like hyper passive. And then they give up a ton of space unnecessarily. And then kind of the rotations come in a little bit too late. And by the time they get there, they've already kind of lost control. And I'm really hoping to see a little bit more of that proactive play. We saw some great stuff. There was the one round we knew, they've got their 3 stack in apps. They managed to take out a few of the CatEvil players and then pivot off of that into a round win. So taking control of that space a little bit more, that could be the win condition here for Moon Esports. Again, depending on which CatEvil comes to the fore, right? If we're seeing a slightly more aggressive CatEvil, then it could play into Moon Esports if they play a little bit more proactively. So let's see if they can actually do that, take that space and regain control. It's a bit of an uphill battle here for this Moon Esports team, as they do have to get the next 3 rounds in a row if they want to take us into yet another overtime.
Yeah, it's a tall order, I think it's safe to say. So as we stand, well, CatEvil, advantage in their court. 21-18, we're looking for 22, and they're oh so close, taking their opponent's map pick and going towards Dust 2 with a real air of confidence about them. We'll have to wait and see. Nonetheless, utility coming forward, still trying to play ever so slightly aggressive, which could work in his favor as he's pushed through and towards mid. He got that control. The question will he be spotted on the cross? He will, doesn't matter. It's a quick trade, 4 for 4 in each side. Damage dealt, information gain, and Jin down to 18 points of HP is given an advantage for Moon to potentially find 19 here. Kate's making his way over towards out of B. Trying to find the way to the B, but no. Oh, too quick from time to deliver. One advantage collected for Moon, and now things are looking dicey for Cat as they kind of have to commit over towards A now.
I like this. Slightly more passive play. We saw the aggression from CatEvil. There was a little bit of aggression from Moon Esports as well, which does get punished. But, ultimately, they're able to get themselves a lead, which is quickly traded back.
Because of the utility both ways. 3 versus 2 now. Still Jin on low HP, remaining alive. As Nalfi's trying to deny that presence over towards the A site. Orb holding. Jin not making the drop down. So at the very least, they've got the site in somewhat control. But September's still not being cleared. In towards Big Pit. Staying and remaining alive is going to be the big issue at hand here. I think they've got a slight... Well, I was going to say, they've got maybe a understanding that he's there. Now they do. Molotov will come forward. Actually, will be Everth. Doesn't matter nonetheless. 2 remain alive and 19 collected. Gunning for OT number 3.
Hey, we go again. Nice. That was a round that Moon Esports needed. Not just because, obviously, it keeps them in this game, but in terms of their mental as well. When that gap starts to be created, you can kind of get in your own head a little bit, and you can get a little bit nervous. And this is the first map in a best of 3, people. We still have potentially 2 more maps after this. So to boom now would be devastating for Moon Esports. So hopefully they can kind of keep that momentum going. I like the way that they play that round. So I spoke a little bit about it. They take a slightly more aggressive push out of A main, and it does get traded out. But the fact is they do manage to get a kill there. Then with a slightly more passive positioning on the B side, and this was something else I'd noticed. They'll have like a passive position on one side, and then on the other side, they'll be taking like a slightly more proactive stance, and then they kind of like swap it up back and forth there. So there was a little bit more proactivity coming out of A main, but the B hold was slightly more passive. So CatEvil are able to push up Banana completely for free and get a kill off there. Meanwhile, there's that trade happening over in A main. Once the rotation comes in and Bomb starts moving in towards the site, Moon Esports do a really good job of slowly chipping away at the last couple of players left alive. They've got some really nice positioning throughout that A site, and it is also because they have a slightly more stacked hold there. You know, that it's a bit more fortified with players. So when CatEvil try to push in, they've got a few more of those angles covered. And again, you know, that kind of util usage, that lackluster not seeing a lot of the smokes and flashes coming through as effectively as we could be, and Moon Esports are able to kind of leverage that into that round win. So really well played there. We need to just see that more, right? We need to see 2 more rounds of that if Moon Esports want to stay alive.
Unfortunately, though, I do think we are in a tech pause. Not exactly where we want to be at this sort of standing,
Like
this sort of
this.
stage. I know, it was all looking so good. So what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to throw this on to an ever so slight break whilst we get the players back in the server and Moon Esports tech issues are resolved. So we'll see you all just after the break. ladies and gentlemen, we are back, right back into the action as Dreamer and Jin gonna find, well, want to be Dreamer and Kenneth, man, I say, want to be Swag and come alive as well. We said it only a quick tech pause, and there it is, we're back underway. Estelle making it a double over towards the site, denying that a presence. It is a hectic start after the tech pause, as things are getting right back under the fray, but it's 1 versus 2.
No
and Estelle
ways.
has to deny, and there it is, in a matter of seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done. Taking it is that of CatEvil. They push in towards Dust 2 on map number 2.